Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm delighted that we're joined by our New York State Senator Phil Boyle, along with the Commissioner of Public Safety for the town of Islip, Tony D'Amico. Where are you? There you are. And Deputy Commissioner Tony Prudenti. We also have members of the Harbor Patrol, the Islip Harbor Patrol, and of course, our wonderful Suffolk County Marine Bureau. I would like to, today we're focusing on boater safety, and it is a really big issue, and the Senator is going to talk about some legislation that he has. And also we're joined today by Dave Anderson, who's General Manager of Fire Island Ferries, and there are some important things on a federal level that affect ferries that he's going to share with us today too. We have nearly 100 miles of coastline here in the town of Islip. We're the third largest town in the state of New York, and sometimes we lose sight of that. But we want everyone to enjoy themselves this holiday weekend and all summer long on our wonderful bay, in the canals and our waterways, our ocean beach over at Atlantique. But while you're out there, we want you to remember to follow the safety precautions. Wear a life jacket, designate a driver. And more important than what's in the cooler is where's the life jackets. And if we can impress upon you anything, that is the message we want you to take away today, among other things. We will be increasing our patrols over the holiday weekends. As the Suffolk County Marine Bureau, they will be out there to enforce, and it is a wonderful synergy that we have between our town Harbor Patrol and Suffolk County Marine Bureau. We're always there to assist whenever possible. We will be checking for BWEs, and so we just remind everyone to be aware of that. As I said, Senator Boyle is here with us today. He's going to talk about some new boating legislation he's currently working on. So if you will, please welcome Senator Phil Boyle. Phil?
Thank you, Supervisor, and thank you, Commissioner, and safety and law enforcement officials on the county and town level. It's a pleasure to be here. This is going to be another wonderful Memorial Day weekend and a great summer. It's been a long, cold winter, and everyone's going to want to get out on the water. But it is a dangerous place as well as a fun place, and we're asking everyone to be mindful. Obviously, no boating while intoxicated. If you're with other people, always have a designated boating captain. The legislation the Supervisor was referring to is a bill that I'm sponsoring in Albany. Gina Leineck, as many of you remember, lost her daughter Brianna a number of years ago, right out here on the Great South Bay. And she is championing legislation which we've trying to pass in the Senate, and hopefully we'll pass in the Assembly before the end of session next month, to require that anybody who owns a boat has to take a safety course. Believe it or not, you can buy a boat, a yacht. You can buy the biggest boat in the world, and you do not have to have certification or license in New York State. Unfortunately, most people are very responsible and do the training voluntarily, but there's no requirement. This bill would require it for New York State boaters. We're going to see if we get it passed, and I know that Supervisor Carpenter and other elected officials in the area support the legislation. We do it in the remembrance of Brianna, and we call it Brianna's Law. And hopefully we'll get it passed. And thank you, Gina. Her mom could not be here today, but she sends her best and reminds everyone, boat safely, because not only did she lose her daughter, she and her husband were very grievously injured, and they live with the injuries to this day, both mentally and physically. So let's keep a safe boating season this summer in memory of Brianna. Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you so much, Senator. We are really very grateful that you are championing that legislation in Albany, and whatever we can do to offer letters of support, we certainly stand ready to do that. There are many recreational boaters out there on our waterways, but we also have the Fire Island ferries in Sayville, and they transport hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people back and forth across the bay over to the Barrier Beach all summer long, and well into the winter too. And the General Manager, Dave Anderson of Fire Island Ferries, is here with us today. Actually, the ferries are celebrating their 70th anniversary this year. It's quite a momentous occasion right here in the town of Islip in Bayshore. But Dave has been working too with the delegation in Washington on some issues that affect us here. So Dave, if you would please come forward and share that.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. Thank you, Senator Boyle. As we know, the sharing the waterways is important to everybody. We want everybody to use it, everybody to respect it. But at the same time, as a commercial operator, professional mariner like myself and all the captains at Fire Island Ferries, Sayville Ferries, Patchogue Ferries, we're always the ones held accountable when it comes to a situation with a recreational boater. And I would like to echo the support for Senator Boyle in his proposed bill at the state level. But at the same time, I work very closely with the Passenger Vessel Association. And just 2 weeks ago, I came back from Washington, D.C., where I met with several senators and congressional people. And one of the proposed bills that is on the docket is one that is going to task the Coast Guard with having them perform a study at the national level of how many recreational boat operators actually have some type of training. And the goal of this bill is to, at the national level, to have everybody who is going to operate a recreational vessel, no matter if it's a personal watercraft or a recreational boat, to have some type of training. And I don't just mean going online. This is going to be an actual in-course training. There are rules of the road that we have to follow that the recreational boater is not aware of. And I think the best advice I could give is for the recreational operator to be cognizant of their surroundings. And, you know, it's probably worth noting as well that the Coast Guard Auxiliary will set up, you can set up an appointment with them to have an inspection done of your recreational vessel to make sure that you are in compliance with the laws. Okay, they will come down, they will inspect your vessel, and if you have all the required equipment on there, they will put their sticker on your boat so that Suffolk County Police or the Coast Guard know that you've already been looked at. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dave, and that really dovetails so nicely with what the senator is doing in Albany. And hopefully they'll both happen, but we certainly are very confident that we'll see it happen in New York. I would also like to invite our Commissioner of Public Safety, who oversees Harbor Patrol 2, and that's Tony D'Amico, to share a little bit about the strategies that we have planned going forward. Tony?
Thank you, Madam Supervisor, Senator Boyle, and Suffolk County Police Department. Our harbor masters will be out in full force. We do have agreements in place with the Suffolk County Police and the Coast Guard to perform search and rescue and aid them when they need us, but we prefer not to. So we will have zero tolerance out there. We're not going to have any tolerance for people drinking and boating, exercising in an unsafe manner with their jet skis in the waterways. So we'll be out there along our coastline as well. We have several docks and marinas, so we will have people in boats and cars patrolling both. So we'll be out there. We hope everybody has a great summer, but we're not going to tolerate any nonsense this weekend. So have a great weekend.
Thank you, Tony. And I'd like to ask Suffolk County Marine Bureau Sergeant
Dave Churkus.
Churkus, Dave, to please come forward and let us know a little bit about what is planned with Suffolk County.
Thank you. We'll be out there like we are every year. We know everybody wants to have a good time, and that's exactly what we would like. We can't stress enough the use of life jackets and to drink responsibly and to use designated drivers whenever possible. That is our biggest issue, is the safety of everyone, and there's going to be a lot of boats out there, so please be careful, be safe, and keep an eye on all your children. As we know, they can get, they can be misplaced sometimes. Well, a lot of times we count on the other boaters. They'll notice a lot of the boaters out there and fishermen and the people operating commercial craft like ferries. They'll warn us that someone's acting irresponsibly. We'll also be out there patrolling, and we'll notice when someone's driving a boat recklessly. At night, sometimes people will be driving without their proper lights on. There's a lot of signs that we'll check out and issue summonses, and we'll see if they're intoxicated or impaired in any way. You have to have one life jacket for every person on board that fits them. It must be appropriate. If you have a child or an infant, you must have one for them. And everyone up to the age of 12 has to be wearing their life jacket unless they're in the cabin. And we just want everybody to have a good time and a great, safe summer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sergeant. And I think, Dave said it well. We want everyone to have a great time, but we want you to be safe. We don't want you to be a statistic. We don't want you to be a story that is a tragedy. So, again, we wish everyone a wonderful, wonderful, safe, happy summer. out on the waterways, in our wonderful parks. I know our Parks Department has been working very, very hard getting ready. It was a little bit more difficult this year with the late winter that we had and the no spring, but the parks are all ready. The Coast Guard Auxiliary is very, very active here in the town of Islip. In addition to doing those boat checks, they run boater safety classes that, again, we're hoping is going to be mandatory. It is not, but as far as we're concerned, it is. So we just, again, ask everyone to have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful summer. It's not just the holiday season we're concerned about. It will be all summer long. We want you to be safe and have a great summer. Thank you.